Formula One stock car season is in full swing. World champion Andy Smith and arch-rival Frankie Wainman Jr. are heading for Kings Lynn. It's the first time they'll have faced each other since the row over Andy's car kicked off.
I've come off a couple of stressful days this week. People are picking on my car, moaning that it's too fast and all that sort of rubbish.
It's all down to Andy's interpretation of the rule book.
Between that point and that point, you mustn't cut the chassis leg. Well, my chassis leg's cut just back from that point, so there's no problem with it.
Or is there? Other drivers are up in arms.
Apparently, according to my brother, it's illegal, and according to a few drivers, it's legal, and according to some other drivers, it's legal.
You know, I think it's a bit sour grapes, really, because he were going well, and I think they're a bit jealous.
Pull down the guy who's quickest. Get yourself sorted and get quicker. Simple. People are coming out with silly statements about the design of my car. You know, it's just scaremongering by certain people.
No surprise who Andy thinks is the chief scaremonger.
Andy's always built his own cars. He's obviously tried to find a little advantage somewhere and a loophole in the rules. I don't know, we'll see where it goes.
Frankie's wife, Sam's, worried that the Wainman's winning streak will run out. She thinks the Smiths already have an unfair advantage. Cash.
We don't have, you know, brand new engines like Andy. You know, we have to make do with stuff we've had for years, and that in itself is enough of a challenge. We don't need him to be having an illegal chassis either. I know a lot of people have been on the phone to Frankie saying that it's not right and stuff. It puts us in a wee bit of a awkward situation because we don't want to come across as being whingers, but you know, if something's not right and you feel somebody's got an advantage, then you know, something needs to be done. Yes. No, you can't eat your soup in there.
Now the sports authorities are getting involved. A committee will meet next week to decide on the legality of Andy's car. His wife Lisa is fed up.
It's just all the moaning, mainly on Frank. He stirred everything up and he's been moaning and moaning, and obviously they've had to do something about it because one person thinks he rules the sport. He's just got everybody doing his dirty work for him. At the end of the day, do they really think we're going to waste time and money building a car that's not right?
At Kings Lynn, the controversy is the big story in the pits. Even hardened observers of the sport are baffled by all the tribal bickering. Nina Elmer publishes Stocks World, the winner for stock car news.
I don't understand what all the argument is about, and I really don't understand boys and toys. I always think the only difference between men and boys is the length of the trousers. They behave very much like children, very emotional and very jealous too.
Team Smith are keen to settle their playground dispute with Frankie Wainman Jr.
I hope he gets a puncture, put that on camera. Or his engine blows up.
As for Andy's dad, Stuart Smith Sr., the bad karma seems to be working. Until the Smiths' arch-enemy scrapes through, despite the evil eye.
Crap race, really. But Wainman qualified.
Back in Rochdale, Andy's seriously rattled about the upcoming committee meeting. It may be the end of the road for his new car.
What's wrong with a bit of innovation and people doing stuff? The people going to that meeting to try and get my car I think.
Why?
Wayman will say no, because they've all been having a little concoction about it, haven't they? I'll be wasting my breath.
I know what you're saying.
Right. I still say it's a witch hunt. Okay, what you said.
The committee's meeting tonight. The Waymans are not invited.
We'll find out tomorrow sometime what they discuss. I feel a bit strong about it as well because it is a major advantage. When you're looking for that last little bit, you know, you're talking the odd 100th here and there, that's the bit.
We just seem to be left in dark, really. He wants bottoming and finalising to bottom.
Yeah. We'll just have to hope common sense prevails and they get on with it, so.
A pub in South Yorkshire is where the future of Smith's car will be decided by this committee of elite drivers. Andy's travelled from Rochdale to defend his position. The meeting goes on into the night. Sam Wainman's sure there's a conspiracy afoot.
There are a lot of Andy's supporters on the committee, if you like. Won't be surprised if he gets away with it. He seems to get away with everything else, so...
Hey, it's very much behind closed doors. Basically, going back to why me and Frankie were thrown off the committee in the first place. Our views weren't thought to be in line with the sport, and that sort of clicker drivers revolves around Rochdale.
The verdict's due just before the season's biggest race so far, the European Championship.
If nothing's sorted with this car and he's given the go-ahead to race it at the European, I think Frankie will want to drill him, actually, like he did last year. What else is he supposed to do?
Yeah, I'll bet him next week. Yeah.
Just stop him from finishing. Would be nice.
Last year's European ended in a highly controversial crash. Frankie took Andy out.
Clash of the Titans up there as the junior Wayman goes away, car number 515.
It's midnight when the committee finally reaches its conclusion.
We've got a fantastic committee at the minute. None of them make a living at stock car racing, and it allows them to make a balanced judgment on most things. There was never any doubt in my mind that you know, there was going to be any problems going to stop me racing at the European with my car. You know, the car's right, and that's the end of it. I want to beat people fairly, not unfairly. And so hopefully this will draw a line under it, but I doubt it'll draw a line under it for some people, but I don't really care about them, so there we go.
Next morning, the news that Andy's car has passed muster filters back to Frankie.
Our committee's just very, very weak. I would imagine because it's Andrew Smith and he's a world champion, the European coming up next week, that they won't have an option but to pass it, otherwise he'll just throw his teddies out of the pram and won't race. The hassle between us and the Smiths, you know, I mean, he's blaming me for it anyway, saying it's me that's pushing it all and everything, but I've had nothing to do with a lot of it. So, you know, I just let him get on with it and I'll just try and beat him on the track with a car I've got. It's a championship he's never won. He's never won the European Championship. But if he does win it, you know, part of him has got to feel that he has cheated to win it.
Frankie's determined to keep up with the Smiths. He's fitted a new engine to his own car.
We've put this engine together out of some parts I already had, and you know, I've spent a bit of money that I didn't really have, hopefully just to give us a little bit of edge.